Hello. I wanted to take a minute or two to tell you about TU 874, which is the mathematics degree here in TU Dublin. This is a 4-year full-time course leading to an Honours BSc in Mathematical Sciences. The first 2 years of the programme are focused on developing core mathematical expertise in foundation areas of maths like calculus, algebra, probability and statistics. Practical skills are also developed, such as programming and software applications, along with written and oral presentation skills. In the last 2 years, modules are selected from areas reflecting a broad range of topics in mathematics, such as mathematical modelling, theoretical physics, operations research, statistics with data analytics, and financial mathematics. So you can choose to specialise in certain areas or cover a wide range of topics. There is even a dedicated stream to get a qualification in industrial mathematics. A key feature of this degree is the embedding of programming and other software in the application of mathematical solutions to problems. This includes quite generic tools such as Microsoft Excel, as well as powerful specialist tools like Maple, MATLAB, or and Python. So do come prepared to learn about and use computing effectively in solving problems. It's a big part of our degree and it's one that's valued by employers. The School of Maths is a close-knit group and everyone pretty much gets to know everyone else. Class sizes are typically between 20 and 40, and this allows the lecturers and the students to get to know each other and for students to ask questions and get direct support from the lecturers in tackling problems, whether in the classroom or in the computer lab. For half of year 3, students go on work placement with one of our industrial partners. Recent placements have been with companies operating in the financial and banking sectors, insurance, government and education. These areas are where most of our graduates find employment too, and employment prospects are really very good. If you want to continue your studies after your degree, we offer postgraduate opportunities at the certificate, diploma, master's and doctoral levels, both full and part-time, so you could work and continue your studies at the same time. Right now, we are relocating to the TU Dublin Grangegorman campus, which is close to Dublin city centre. This is a brand new campus with state-of-the-art facilities and excellent transport links. What we always advise potential students is this. If you like solving problems with maths, if these hold your interest and you'd like to learn more, then this degree is certainly worth considering and we'd be very happy to talk to you on a one-to-one basis about what we have to offer. Thanks.
So what is computer science? Computer science is really the study of computational systems and our relationships with them. Computer scientists play an increasingly important role in society, and they use their knowledge and skills to build computational systems that improve our everyday lives. In fact, it's hard to think of any aspect of modern life that hasn't been affected in some way or another by advancements in computing. For example, computing has changed the way we think about delivering education. It has revolutionized the way we communicate through social media platforms. It has improved our infrastructure systems such as our power grids and transport systems. Our communications networks are constantly improved by advancements in computing. Our financial and commerce systems are now completely dependent on it. And in our spare time, we enjoy entertainment that is powered by computer systems. Our privacy and security are dependent on it. And we are seeing the impact of computing in our healthcare systems, along with the popularity of wearable smart devices that measure things like heart rate. Computer science also deals with more abstract theoretical issues that lead to advancements in fields such as more efficient algorithms, new programming languages, improved modes of interaction such as speech, and intelligent computer systems, to name but a few.
Hello everybody and welcome. My name is Brian Keegan. I'm a lecturer in computer science in TU Dublin.
Hi everybody, my name is Susan McKeever. I'm a colleague of Brian's, also in computer science in TU Dublin.
So what we'd like to talk about today is trying to unravel some of the terminology around computer science. And we tend to think of computer science as an umbrella term for lots of different terms which are related to it, this particular topic. And you'll see a lot of our course programs have these different titles. For instance, computer science, computing, information technology, and computer engineering are some of the main ones. So computer science we tend to think of as the theoretical side, and for instance, how algorithms are developed and how we would apply these kind of techniques. Whereas computing sometimes deals with mainly the infrastructure or the hardware side of things. Information technology we often think of as the applications associated with it, and sometimes informatics. And computer engineering is the kind of broader term for problem solving, which is associated with computing related problems. Susan, you have anything to add to this?
Sure, yeah. So those terms that you've described, Brian, you'll still see that the hard and fast definitions can get kind of fluid when the programs are named. And so it's worth going into the program details to see exactly, because there's going to be a lot of overlaps. And not only that, you'll also see some specialist areas as well within the whole computing and computer science area. So things like cybersecurity or bioinformatics or networking or cloud computing. And these are all specialist areas that you can see right down at program level. And so go into the program details, go into the website, look at the modules so that you can see exactly what you're studying. It's worth digging into the detail.
Yeah, that's true. I'd agree with that. And what this will allow you to do is to set up for a particular type of career path. But please keep in mind as well that it doesn't mean that this is the only career path you can take, that there's a lot of flexibility around this. But we do kind of group together kind of specialist modules around these titles. So why choose TU Dublin? So why should we choose it, Susan?
Okay, so there's a whole bunch of reasons why you should choose TU Dublin. So not in any particular order, it's worth keeping in mind we are the biggest supplier of tech graduates in Ireland. So we have the biggest combined, we've got 3 schools in the area of computing and computer science, and between us we supply the biggest number of tech graduates to local industries and beyond. We've very practical courses with very close tie into industry, and we have really good modern and applied teaching methods. Our graduates up in the top left-hand corner there, industry-ready graduates, industry love our graduates. If we could keep supplying at the rate that they come looking to us for our graduates, we'd be rich. So an active demand from our industry liaisons and relationships that we have looking for our grads. And some other points there too, Brian, if you want to cover them.
Yeah, like that's just what I'm saying. I think we're uniquely placed in Dublin anyway. We're at the heart, obviously, in the city centre and spread across the whole city. And we're very closely geographically linked to a lot of these industries. So we would have good ties with them, good working relationships with them. But in particular, TU Dublin has this tradition of applied teaching methods and hands-on experience working with this stuff. So we'll move on. So this is I really like this question. So who are computer scientists? So I like this idea of breaking stereotypes. We often ask this question, what makes a computer scientist, or what do they look like, and where will they work? Well, there is no stereotype, I'd say, anymore. This has been completely smashed. It's not boys, it's not girls, it's not some gamer sitting in the corner. A computer scientist and the type of place that they'll end up working are very broad. It's not just software development companies, it's insurance companies, it's other kind of business that deals with any sort of data analytics, any software that's related to it. So your job can find you in pure hardware, or can find you in pure software, or can find you in the healthcare sector. So it's absolutely everywhere. So what do they look like? I don't know. It's the next person that I meet on the street, really. Unless you have anything to add to this one, Susan.
Yeah, I mean, I can't emphasize enough what a vibrant sector it is and how varied it is. You can work for small companies, you can set up your own company, you can work for the large corporates, tech specialists or companies that have tech as their backbone, it doesn't matter. So there's no hard and fast rules. Very vibrant sector, very young sector. huge employer in Ireland. And yeah, impossible to pin down any particular stereotype. So whatever stereotypes you have, break them.
Yeah, absolutely. And computing is everywhere now. And this is the whole thing. And one of the terms you'll hear a lot of, or you might have been hearing a lot of recently, is Internet of Things. And with Internet of Things and sensors, computing is really now what's called ubiquitous. It's absolutely everywhere. So there is no field that's gone untouched. Everything is smart these days. So anything that has smart computing devices, you can find yourself working in these particular areas. So on that as well, in terms of the tech sector, so this is growing all the time. So every sector almost these days is really tech sector. It's impossible not to be. So maybe Susan, if you can talk through some of this, some more of the stats that are around this.
Yeah, I mean, if for anybody looking at this slide, you immediately recognize the household names that are jumping out at you, whether it's phone brand names that you associate with your everyday social media, or tech companies such as Oracle or whatever. You're going to recognize a whole bunch of these. And that's because we have 9 out of the top 10 software companies have a European base in Ireland. That is huge, huge employer in Ireland. Great companies, great conditions. And don't forget, we have a lot of our own indigenous companies as well, that are also taking in our grads, that are so important for fueling these companies and this part of the economy. We directly employ 27,000 people, although it's gone up even since that stat was freshly put out, and it's worth a whopping 24 billion to our export sector. Huge sector for us.
Yeah, absolutely, and we really are multicultural. We even we have a lot of kind of work placements in different countries, but a lot of the jobs that most of you will end up in, it will be a multicultural environment. So we expose you to some of this stuff early on also. So to finish up with, then, why do people study computer science? So I know we've covered some of this stuff already, and we said the computing is everywhere, but really it's a huge opportunity to understand the world, we say, or to understand how we communicate. But more than that, computer science and computing technology then gives us this opportunity to be really creative, and more than that, to really kind of influence or change the future. So it's not just doing things for the sake of doing things, it's how we can impact on society. It's making things better for us in the future. So we shouldn't really just be working on technology for the sake of technology. We want to enhance the way we live. So we also get the opportunity to travel the world there a moment ago, that I mentioned a moment ago there. So, and there's huge opportunities in this. So Susan might have some more to add in this area as well.
Yeah, it's just hard to emphasize how flexible and how futuristic as well this sector is to work in. So, you know, look at the second last point there, to have the freedom to be your own boss or work for some of the biggest companies in the world. It's from one and everything in between. And it is one of the fastest paced industries that has ever existed. The change that's already come in and that is coming down the line, that is spearheaded by computing and computer science, is you can be part of it or you can be on the outside looking in at it. And it is a great sector and great fun to work with, to understand it from the inside out as to what it's all about.
Yeah, definitely. And many of our graduates go on to work for multinational companies and absolutely love it. And we've great employers in that area. But as Susan was pointing out there, you have the freedom to work for yourselves. We've lots of great success stories about students that go on and develop their own idea of what came out of kind of the fruition of their final year project, if you like, and went on to do great things with it, secure huge amounts of funding, and then become an employer as well. So huge opportunities. And then let's not forget there is the possibility of continuing on with your study afterwards if you want to do postgraduate studies. There's lots of opportunities in this space as well.
Yeah.
So I think, hoping that we've given you some idea of unraveling some of the mystery around what the different terms around computer science are, and really what the opportunities are to you, and why TU Dublin is a unique place to help study, or to help with your study and progression in life then with this.
So what kind of jobs are out there? Well, graduates in computing and information technology are in high demand at the moment, and studying computing at third level will open up many different career prospects. In fact, there are so many career pathways in computing, they can't be listed in this short video. But here are just a few.
My name is Keith, and alongside me today is Roisin, and we're part of the TU Dublin computing team. We're here to discuss computing requirements and possible careers in computing or computer science.
What do you need to be a computer scientist? You need a good level of maths, but the good news is ordinary level is enough. You need an interest in problem solving, but what if you've never programmed before? Well, you don't need to worry about that, because we will start from scratch and teach you all you need to know from Python to HTML. But don't take it from me. Here's a video from code.org.
I was 13 when I first got access to a computer.
My parents bought me a Macintosh in 1984 when I was 8 years old.
I was in 6th grade.
I learned to code in college.
Freshman year, first semester, intro to computer science.
I wrote a program to play tic-tac-toe.
I think it was pretty humble beginnings. I think the first program I wrote asked things like, what's your favorite color? Or how old are you?
I first learned how to make a green circle and a red square appear on the screen.
The first time I actually had something come up and say, hello world, and I made a computer do that. It was just astonishing.
Learning how to program didn't start off as wanting to learn all of computer science or trying to master this discipline or anything like that. It just started off because I wanted to do this one simple thing. I wanted to make something that was fun for myself and my sisters. And I wrote this little program and then basically just add a little bit to it. And then when I needed to learn something new, I looked it up either in a book or on the internet and then added a little bit to it.
It's really not unlike kind of playing an instrument or something or playing a sport. It starts out being very intimidating, but you kind of get the hang of it over time.
Coding is something that can be learned, and I know it can be intimidating. A lot of things are intimidating, but what isn't?
A lot of the coding that people do is actually fairly simple. It's more about the process of breaking down problems than sort of coming up with complicated algorithms as people traditionally think about it.
You don't have to be a genius to know how to code. You need to be determined.
Addition, subtraction, that's about it.
You should probably know your multiplication tables.
You don't have to be a genius to code. Do you have to be a genius to read?
Even if you want to become a race car driver or play baseball or build a house, all of these things have been turned upside down by software.
What it is, computers are everywhere. You want to work in agriculture? Do you want to work in entertainment? Do you want to work in manufacturing? It's just all over.
So there's many careers that you can take after you do computer science. In TU Dublin, some of the main areas or the former areas where we work in or where we have degree programs on are machine learning and AI or data science, cybersecurity, cloud and infrastructure, or software. In machine learning and AI, some of the careers that you may come across could be, for example, in business analytics, predicting stock markets, looking at data and trends. You could work in the medical profession or clinical profession, where you might also work with things like automated brain scans, for example, detection of brain tumors. In education, in developing systems to help students learn, or in aerospace or automotive, such as autonomous cars. In cybersecurity, you might look at business transaction systems, such as blockchain, hardware or telecommunications security, such as encryption, and government systems, such as network infrastructure, and again, telecommunications and data storage. These are some of the areas in cybersecurity. From there, there's some really interesting prospects on careers. For example, computer science has one of the highest employment rates of any degree program. In fact, generally, approximately 80% of computer science graduates are employment within 6 months of completing their degree. 90% of those graduates are employed within Ireland. Currently, there is thousands of vacancies, and the growth in computer science far exceeds GDP. Across other nations, such as the US, where about 1.4 million vacancies exist, with only about 400,000 graduates. So there's many prospects in a career in computer science. And these numbers only seem to be getting stronger and stronger. There's also many career prospects in different areas. For example, ethical hackers, data scientists. And what's on the screen are just a sample of some of the careers that you may encounter once doing a degree in computer science or computing in TU Dublin.
Having heard about studying computing from our academic staff and the different types of industries and career paths that it opens the doors to, we're now going to hear from some of our students. So my name is Geraldine Gray, Senior Lecturer at the Blanchardstown campus. And first we're going to hear from Ozioma, current fourth year student in Blanchardstown. Thanks very much, Ozioma, for taking the time out to talk to us about your experience studying computing. So can you tell us, what is it like studying computing at TU Dublin?
Thanks for having me. Studying at TU Dublin has been a very enjoyable experience for me. I think the environment is quite relaxed. So for all the years, all the lectures and labs are 2 hours long, and in any given day you could have all lectures or all labs. So when I was in first year, we had one particular day where we had programming lecture, and then afterwards we had the lab. And we got to work on really exciting things like Arduino robots. So we got to code, it's kind of like a Raspberry Pi. You got to code a robot to go into a maze.
Very good. Thanks very much, Rosemary. And what advice would you give to students thinking about doing computing in terms of what it takes to succeed in a course like this?
My advice would be to really do your research and make sure that it's what you want to do. And assuming that you have done the research, I think, so when I came into this college in first year, I'd had no programming experience before. And I can say lots of people were on the same level as me. They had no experience before. And it's possible to come in without knowing anything and to succeed. But I think if this is what you really want to do, and you know this is what you want to do, I would suggest just like watching YouTube videos or researching things.
Very good advice. Thank you very much, Ozioma.
No problem.
Next, we're going to hear from Dylan, who's a recent graduate of computing here in TU Dublin. Thanks, Dylan, for taking the time out to talk to us today. I'm going to ask you the same questions I asked Ozioma. So what is it like studying computing at TU Dublin?
Well, studying computing at TU Dublin is it's definitely challenging, but it's very fun. I've met some friends for life studying at TU Dublin, like doing computing. You meet a lot of like-minded people, so it's great in that sense. You know, like TU Dublin overall is just brilliant. It has like so many things available for students, such as libraries, gyms, social areas, you know, and a lot of students I know have different interests, and they've all been able to express their interest through the gym or social area or library, wherever you're really into. So studying is great, and I actually like to think it's one of the best decisions I've ever made, because it was a last minute decision for me. So yeah, it's really good. Yeah.
And what do you think you need to succeed in computing?
Well, with computing, and I even see it now, the fundamentals are key. So I mean, the first year, second year, if you can get really on well in them 2 years, the rest of it comes, you know, naturally and stuff. So there's a lot of things with computing, and problem solving is probably one of the main things, but with experience and stuff, you'll become a great problem solver. I also think one of the most important things is communication, because in computing, I see myself now, you work a lot in teams, so communication is key as working on computing projects and stuff like that. So, and you will face them in college, you know, you'll have a lot of computing projects where communication will be good. The project can be great, but the communication and the structure between the team needs to be just as good, you know. So I think that's very important.
That sounds like good advice, thanks. And can you tell us a bit about what you're doing now?
Yeah, so I'm currently a software developer at General Motors. I'm actually working with 3 other students that graduated with me. Yeah, so everyday work is it's kind of a bit strange at the moment because we're working from home, but it's a great opportunity, you know. Like I work with people all across the world. Like I'm on a team there working with people from America, so it's a great experience, you know. And a lot of the things we learned in college we're applying every day in work, so it's great to see the crossover, you know, that we can learn stuff in college and bring it directly into the workplace. And I've made a few recommendations of stuff I've been taught in college and say, can I bring that into the workplace? And they've been like, yeah, the they've been open to my ideas. So it feels like a big step up, but it's not. It just feels like I'm an extra year in college because I'm working with experienced developers, and we're all constantly learning every day off each other. So it's great. It's a great experience, especially to be working with some former students that I graduated with. So yeah, we actually done a hackathon there last week, and we actually won the hackathon. So it was the four of us out of TU Dublin, and we are like hundreds of people were entered, experienced developers. So it just goes to show that like the hard work we done in college paid off in the workplace, because a lot of directors of the company and all seem to love the project we done. So it was brilliant, Yeah. They couldn't believe our college grads.
Thanks very much, Dylan, for sharing that.
No worries. No worries.
So we're going to close out this session by looking at a montage of student fourth year projects, starting with Dylan's own project, which was to look at how machine learning can help you find your ideal home, and then some concluding remarks by Dr. Stephen Sheridan on Is Computing for You?
So is computing for you? Well, have you ever wondered how things like Spotify, Facebook, computer games, or mobile applications work? Would you like to develop the next generation of cutting-edge computing technologies? If you've answered yes to those, well then computing is probably for you. In addition, if you have any of the following attributes, well then you might just have found your ideal course. Being able to identify problems and solutions. Being able to solve problems in a systematic and logical way. Being able to evaluate solutions and pick the right ones. Not everything will work first time. This is normal, and having the resilience to keep going is vitally important. You'll need to talk to humans too, so good communication skills are essential. Out-of-the-box thinking and using your creativity to deliver new and innovative solutions will be of great benefit to you in studying computing.